Hey, friends. So excited to get into this week's episode with all of you. But really quick, have you ever had a friendship breakup? Unfortunately, both Day and I have, and it's a heartbreak that we as adult women often don't talk about. The journey to healing after the end of a friendship can be tough, but we don't have to figure it out alone. Introducing the Creative Healing Series, Volume 1, a transformative virtual screening of the documentary Best Friends, Not Forever. On August 19th, 2023, join Shalise Nelson, a licensed professional counselor, and Diamond Williamson, the director of the documentary, for an empowering experience to support you in finding solace and healing through creative expression. With the exclusive Let's Grow tickets, you'll gain access to the event, along with an exclusive DJ mix and the Best Friends Not Forever workbook, a guide to building sustainable friendships, as both are intended to take you on an immersive journey of the film. Plus, you'll receive a thoughtfully curated package containing a creative expression toolkit and self-care essentials shipped directly to your door. Take the first step towards healing and rediscovering yourself. Use our Honestly Friends podcast code HF20 to receive up to 20% off your tickets when you visit www.theconsciousqueen.com or search for Best Friends Not Forever on Eventbrite to secure your spot today. A link to the virtual event can also be found in this episode's show notes.
Hey, friends. You're tuned into the Honestly Friends podcast with Day and Lee, where we talk about life, love, friendships, and the culture. Hey, Lee.
Hey, Day. What is going on? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. It's Sunday Fun Day. Back to work tomorrow. Well, excited.
And this episode, there's some exciting things to talk about, right? Because there's been a lot.
Yeah,
just when you
think has been on a pill, okay?
Just when you think the submissible could not be topped, baby.
It's always something going on.
We was blowing up each other's phone about that submissible. But then we have the Battle of Montgomery. And before we get into that, though, we got to talk about that little man that keeps coming up into
what little man?
Our
a leprechaun.
Tory Lanez, the Canadian.
The Canadian. The other Canadian.
Girl, he got 10 years. And I don't know what I was thinking that I was wanting him to get, because he was really out of sight, out of mind. When they said guilty, I was like, knew it. Thank God. Justice,
done.
Finally.
Done. Yep.
Justice,
we're done with that.
Finally. But the internet never fails to amaze me on how we're still polarized as a Black community against it.
It's so crazy to me. Yeah, because I've been seeing posts like by men and women, and it really is super weird when I see it by women, when they're like, oh, why did he get 10 years? Like, oh, he just shot like her pinky toe. Like, I'm like, hello? What are we talking about? Like, I'm super happy that he was sentenced. Like, you don't get to get away with harming someone. That's not okay. But when they started talking about like, it's just a pinky toe, I'm like, listen, I told you this. If a person even point a gun in my direction, baby, I want the Lord to come and smite you down in front of my face. Like right then and there, immediately, like immediate consequences, jail. That is the only option. I don't know why people are making it seem like it's some small thing that he did. I don't care that she didn't die, I guess. It's not a small thing that he did. He was shooting at the floor. He was shooting in a residential neighborhood. Like, what the heck?
And if the majority of what I saw was support of him, does that mean there's no support for Megan? And if there's no... Exactly. But it's the anger towards Black women.
Yeah.
That just is like...
Always.
Undefeated.
They minimize Black women. They minimize us so much. Like, at the end of the day, I really don't understand this, for all the people that's like, oh, well, like, he didn't shoot her in, I guess, a major location. Like, realistically and truthfully, I would like somebody to tell me, if somebody shot you, would you be okay with that? Because I just don't understand the logic, like, by trying to minimize the impact of getting shot. No,
as long as you don't die.
I want you to go to jail.
It's like, it's not a big deal. But I was shot at, though. But you ain't die. So it's just very strange. I will say there wasn't that much hoopla, which is good. I think it's because we as the world are over it. I know Megan wants it to
Thankfully.
be over. So I know Megan is happy. But I just am concerned about, is she going to get that get back from her industry? Because she still wants to work, I'm sure. And you know how people
Well, I think the good thing
hold things
is,
against you.
I think the good thing is she has like another situation going on with her previous record label, but she's under. I could be wrong. I don't know exactly what she's under. She's with Jay-Z and Beyonce and them. I think she's under Rock Nation or some type of something in like they're supporting, and it's like that's J and B. They're the king and the queen like right now in that industry, so I think people are going to want to work with her based off of her affiliation with them, and I think that's amazing. So I'm glad that she's under that wing, because you're right, if she was somewhere else like with a different like record label, a different company, or whatever the case may be, they might try to phase her out, but like I'm glad that she's with them. And she had, that's why her like dad and some little girl, I think his little sister was like Jay-Z and Rock Nation, blah blah blah, like months ago when he was first like found guilty. So I'm glad for that.
Oh yeah. They were mad at him. They were mad at them. And Beyonce and Jay were unbothered. Like, oh, baby, we get ready for the Renaissance. What you talking about? You got your ticket? Oh, yo, he can't go. He's going to be unavailable for 10 years. And then he's going to be deported to Canada because he's a Canadian. Sir, stop. Sir, stop. And then the thing about it is that I think he wanted leniency, but all of his actions after the incident showed that he was not remorseful. He wanted to punish her. He wanted to get the public against her. All of that was unnecessary. And that was used by the prosecutors, because after the trial, the prosecutors can't use certain information in the trial. But after the trial, for the sentencing, I think it was a no bars held situation where they could be like, this is what he said. He did this, he did that. And they used all of that against him. And I just feel like people in general, bad people, because I'm not going to say a man, because I mean, he does happen to be a man, but people in general, like when they try to punish you and everything is not written down in a different way, but once you put it out on social media, you can't take that back. Just like with Carly, like her searches, how old do you have to be for Amber? Like all of that will be used against you. And that shows to your more moral or lack of moral character. And then so for you to be asking, oh, can this is my first time shooting somebody, I didn't really mean to do it, baby. Everything you did afterwards proves that you were not remorseful and you thought you were going to get away with it for whatever reason. We do not know why, because you are still a Black man in this country.
Yeah, I know. Thought he was going to be able to slut shame her into people being like, "Oh, she's a whore." Okay, never mind. You get off scot-free.
You can shoot her.
Like, I don't know what he really thought about that whole situation. Like, and I see people still like grapple with the idea of like, oh, well, she lied initially and said that she wasn't shot. Yeah, because this was back in 2020 with George Floyd and all the other countless nameless like Black and minority people that were getting killed and all kinds of stuff. If police pulled up on me after somebody just shot me, I'm going to say no as well. Like, no, there's no gun, because I'm not trying to get shot with everybody else. And honestly,
I was going to ask you why.
Because I don't want to get shot. Like,
because you want to get shot by the police?
Yeah. Because sometimes
that's a valid fear.
Yeah, like
that's a valid fear.
In the height of that, like to be Black, and they already had like people calling in the neighborhood saying like, we heard gunshots or we heard this, that, and the other. Like, no, I'm gonna sit there and be like, no, there's nothing. Like, it's small, it's minor. Like, I would do the same thing. And honestly, I would even go as far as to say, because they knew each other, he wasn't some random person on the street. Maybe even at that point, she was just like, I don't want him to get in that much trouble. Because the reality is, at the end of the day, everybody wants to blame Megan, but it's still not Megan that like had this case against him. It's the city of, or the county, city, or state of California that had this against him. She really did not try to push it. So at the end of the day, like maybe even with what happened, which I don't understand why she didn't, but to each their own, she wasn't trying to necessarily get him in trouble, even though he did something that was so egregious towards her. But, you know, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know why y'all grappling with this idea. Like, he shot her. She didn't want everybody to end up, I don't know, going to jail or getting shot in the moment. And she said, she lied. Cool. It was later debunked because the medical examiner looked at the bullet fragments in her foot and was like, baby, you got shot. We can't navigate around this. And that is what it is. But I'm just like, I don't understand why people literally feel like, oh, I don't understand why he's going to jail. He shot someone.
It's the relic. I believe it's like relics of slavery, relics of white supremacy. Honestly, all of us are sick. Like every Black person is touched by it, even the ones that are like on the, what do you call it, the spectrum of Dr. Umar. Like we all have certain things where we're just like wrestling within ourselves of the things that we've been taught about ourselves. And you know, the juxtaposition between how we're kind of polarized around the Megan and the, what's that boy name, Tory situation, and then what happened in the Battle of Montgomery. So interesting because like over there, everybody was like, "Oh no, not today."
Right.
Not today. So
which
I mean,
support.
It's just as angering as it can be that, you know, it's just like, you know, one day I hope our Black men will not rally around another Black man automatically sometimes when it comes to a Black woman. I'm not saying all of them do that, but there is some toxicity. And that's not just Black men, that's misogyny. I hope it'll get to where it was, where they were like, oh no, we're not finna do that. Cause well, baby, over there, you in Alabama, Montgomery, it was such a beautiful sight to see. And I remember it happened, I think Friday or something like that. I'm not really sure. And I saw it, but I was at work and I didn't. And then the next morning you sent me something that the night before. And I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm tired. But when I woke up, I literally was in my bed for like an hour after. I hollered.
That was so funny. Like I just sent you something earlier today about
you
it.
Did?
Like I did because it's and just I so funny.
At that too. Because I wasn't expecting it. And that was a beautiful part because that was a Pacific Islander. And I just didn't know where he was going for it, but it's just so funny, the memes of like for example, that one's like the Pacific Islander delegation is on your side, the Latino are on your side, the Mexicans, they were like, just as a Mexican, we just want to give y'all August 5th is y'all Cinco de Mayo. Like everybody was like exactly, like Alabama Sweet Party, Montgomery Ball, like just we're just undefeated, Dania. We're undefeated as a people.
Yeah. I loved it. I saw it initially like Sunday night and like Monday, like I could not contain myself. Like I could, like on my breaks from work, I was looking at memes and I was just dying laughing every single time. And then like being on social media and like, you know, all the comedians coming out and giving their point of view and all kinds of stuff. It was hilarious. And I'm with homeboy. I don't even know his name. That's so terrible.
We don't. Yeah, that's true.
The dock worker, the dock security. Like I said this when we talked. Like he went to work. None of us work for fun. Most of us don't work for fun. Let me just say that we work for a check. We work to sustain our lives. We work to better our lives or whatever. You may enjoy the work you do, but most people do not work for just fun. Like you don't just get up and be like, well, I'm today. That's it. I'm gonna quit working. So this is a man that went into work to just do his shift, whatever time he clock in to whatever time he clock out. He just went to go, you know, work his shift. And for these people in Alabama to just like feel so entitled to say like, well, we're not going to move our boat from a place that like the riverboat is supposed to dock. And then to try to fight him, and y'all thought y'all was just gonna have it your way? Absolutely not. Like our people said, no. Homeboy that came from up top, like top deck to like come help was like, no. That little baby, the little 16-year-old that said, yeah, no, I'm about to jump off this boat and swim across and whoop your ass. Was like, no.
Handing out ass whoopers for real. So for context, for anybody who is listening but does not know exactly what's going on, because actually we have international friends listening to the podcast on a weekly basis. So it was a like party boat situation. and it had to have hundreds of people on it, and most of them were African American, and they were trying to dock, apparently for several hours or for several minutes,
like 20 minutes or so,
yes,
something like that.
And there was a family and some friends who had a pontoon boat that were docked where they needed to dock, and learning from the actual journalists who have covered it, in maritime law, a small vessel must always yield to a larger vessel. So them people knew that, because to have a boat, you have to do certain type of classes. So they knew that. So they were being entitled. They were saying, nah, I don't listen to you, despite what the law says, which is something white privilege deals with all the time. And apparently the man had asked them more than one time. And we thought he was a security guard, but he's actually was a co-captain on the boat.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. And the reason why I think it had escalated and the white man was like, absolutely not, you're not going to tell me what to do, is because the black man, after telling them several times, more than once, I don't know how many, but it was more than once, he moved the boat. I don't know how, we didn't see that, but he moved the boat. And the vitriol that happened from that white man, because in his mind, black people don't tell him what to do. When he was a kid, that didn't happen. And so he went and did it. He went and decided that he was going to assault him. And someone said yesterday, I believe, when I was watching on TikTok, because I've been doing better on TikTok, but sometimes I do go for about 10 minutes and just look at all of the TikToks about it. This white lady said, she's like, they were going to lynch him, because that's what was going to happen. When it's one black man against all these people, if you look at it, we were witnessing a lynching attempted. We don't know how far it would have went, but that's how lynches started. That's how they start. And a lynching isn't hanging someone from a tree all the time. It's brutalizing them. It's murdering. It's beating them down until they're dead. It's setting them on fire. It's dragging them, hatching them to your truck and dragging them. Like, it's not just what we know, because it happens most of the time. I was like, oh my gosh, we were witnessing what could have been a 2023 terrible lynching. That's crazy. But anyway, so then everybody ran up and was like, run up, get done up.
Period. Period. Like, the memes, the videos, the different angles of everything had me dying. Like, the three guys that were like shirtless that came skipping up, I said, baby, if somebody comes skipping up to a fight, it is over for you. Okay? Yeah. It is over for you.
I knew when they were skipping to their loo and they was black, I was like, I've seen this before. Like, oh,
you don't want to be
that
there.
Man do not care. And then the young man who swam, I really think it sent chills up my body, Daniel, when I saw that, because it ignited a pride in me, because no one can tell me the millions of what was going on and that were additive to the situation. I feel like that was supernatural, because if you look at what was going on, it was at a old slave selling area on a dock. It was a sea entry port. The boat was named Harriet. The boat was named Harriet, for number one.
Right.
Like, what? And we were just not going to let that happen.
And you know what? I saw like several videos of like, there were like a group of ladies that had gone out there like earlier in the day, and they went to like go honor our ancestors and like, I think flowers or something like that in there. So yeah, it could have been supernatural. Like, that baby said, I'm jumping off this boat. Like, do you know how much strength and breath in your body you have to swim across, like, to a dock, fully clothed, like regular clothes, pull yourself up with shoes and all, and then go and body slam somebody? Baby,
I body slam somebody.
A couple people.
I've never seen so much shoulder action in my life. Them shoulders were just going left, right. I was like, I'm amazed.
It was amazing to see. I love just how collectively, like, our people came together to defend this man, because it's, you know, like you said, it could have been a public lynching. Like, it was definitely going to be a beat down. Like, they just thought they were going to get away with beating down this man who's just simply trying to do his job. And our people was like, yeah, no, actually, that's not what's about to happen. Like, run that back. We're not doing that.
And I know at some point, because when he was like, oh, when that man swung at him, he was like, ah. And then, all right, he was
The
like,
hat.
at this point,
Said that's a
let's
bad
say his
signal.
name. Let's say his name was Dre. Dre is like, this hat means I am no longer Dre the co-captain. I am Dre the private citizen. I'm about to whip your ass. And so I think he was like, okay, fine. If it's me and you, it's whatever. But there was a point, I'm sure when he was on the ground, he was like, oh shit, they're jumping me. Oh, this motherfucker's jumping me? Ooh, well, y'all can jump me all y'all want to, but I'm gonna get one of y'all. I'm gonna get one of y'all.
Right.
And it just makes me think, when we were talking about it the week after, I guess last week now, and we were just kicking and hollering about everything that was going on, it just made me realize, because you were like, both of us were like, nah, if I was there, I'd have fought too. Now, I'm not going to fight a man. I'm not going to fight a man. Let's be clear. But I would have been on alert.
I'll try.
And if any woman steps up in there, okay, baby, you mine. Come on. It's me and you. And like, I was telling my mom was like, well, you're not supposed to fight. And I'm like, I understand that. And I have been in like 1.5 fights, and I was a child when that happened. And I don't know really what my fighting abilities are, but I know the anger that was inside of me, and it was righteous anger. It was indignation. So it's not like frivolous anger. My anger and everybody who was angry was righteous. Baby, nah, I feel like this is a destiny moment, and I'm meeting my destiny. I don't know what's going to happen, but I also know I ain't got no priors. And I will deal with the consequences later. If I got to get a lawyer, I got a home, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll put my home, but like, you're not going to do this in front of me. Yeah. First of all, it's disrespectful, because you just think that we're going to lay down and let you do that. And Zora Neale Hurston, one of my favorite authors, she said something to the effect of, don't quote me, but she's like, if you don't complain about your oppression, they'll say that they were okay with it. And I think that's what they think. They're like, oh, they're not going to we can literally beat this person up and get away with it, and no one will do anything. And every fight, you don't have to fight every fight, but you do need to pick your battles. I said all the time, I pick my battles. That would have been a battle I fought. And I think it's funny because like you like, yeah, nah, that wouldn't have happened. And I was like, this is why we're friends. Because normally we also talked about when you're mad and we're out, I chill out.
Yes.
Because I'm like, okay, she mad. I gotta look out for her. And usually you're right for being mad. I understand, but I'm like, I'm gonna chill out. And then when I'm mad, you be chill. Yeah. So we've never been in a situation where we're both mad. But I was like, I felt the way I was like, you know what, Dinya, this is why we friends. And I'm like, if we were there today, I'm like, I would have just looked at you. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but I'm finna go. And you'd be like, bitch, I'm right with you. I'm like, all right, let's go.
No, my anger would have bubbled over. My anger would have bubbled over. One thing about it is, for me, like, most of my, unless it's a happy emotion, most of my negative emotions channel into anger. And I feel like in that moment, I would be scared for this man because all these people are jumping him. And one thing about it is, when I get scared, I get angry. Like, I can get violent when I get scared. Like, no, I would have just been like, down there. I would have been down there. Like, y'all not about to do this. Not today. Not on my watch. And like you said, I don't have no priors. I would have called my mama up in that jail and be like, call Auntie V. Could y'all come get me? Call Auntie V.
Exactly. And no,
that was it. Like, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Y'all not about to jump this man. Not in front of me.
And on top of it being black and white, because there's definitely black and white issue. Like, white people just do not like when black people tell them no. White people do not like when black people are saying, you're not going to do this here. They feel like, how dare you? Like, you see, I'm white, right? Like, my opinion matters. And black people like, where does your opinion matter? Not here. You see how much it matters. And so on top of that, it's just a right and wrong thing. You know me, as someone who has past work trauma, I was in retail, and the amount of like ridiculous, unreasonable requests that I would get from people, and they really thought that I was going to do it. And then people did not like me because I was like, no. Yeah. I think they resented that I told them no. I think they resented that I was a black woman telling them no. And I could care less either way. Like, it's a no. Because you teach people how to treat you, and you're not going to do that here. I don't care about the next person who comes after me who's covering on my other shift. But here we have a certain type of order. And I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm doing it because that's my position. And a lot of these companies actually defend the bad
patron,
behavior,
the customer. Yeah.
So I would have a manager coming to me. He's like, well, you know, the patient was this and that, and next time we can do this. And in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna be like, I hear you, but in my head, I'm like, no, I'm still not doing it. And that's why I could no longer work there that long, because I'm pretty sure they felt like I was difficult. But you're only difficult because you're difficult to F over. You're difficult to fool. You're difficult to lie to. Yeah, I'll be all that difficult. And that's all that man was trying to do. And just people, and because these companies tailor to bad behavior, it's become the norm. Patients or customers just know all they got to do is complain to a manager. And that's it.
And get their way.
They found out that day.
They found out that day. No.
Like you said, people be wanting to infinity and beyond customers. And it's like, no.
No, I loved it. I especially love, like I said, the different angles. Like that one angle that I saw of the police officers that were there. One of them like fidgeting for like 15 minutes with God knows what, because he was like, "No, you about to get your ass beat," like, and I'm gonna let it happen.
Yeah,
I'm about to let it happen.
There was one TikTok. He was like, "All right, now you can't hear what the chair. All right, I'm gonna take you in. Like, why did you do that? Why?"
I feel like they really got serious when homeboy was hitting the people with the chair. They were like, "Okay, party is over. Party over." Like,
I can't be hitting people with the chair.
Like, you done took it too far. But no, it was such a good moment. I was just saying, like, it was such a good moment to see, like, our people and people just come together and defend someone, and even to see in that moment that police didn't take it that far, because we've seen them take it so far for less. So that was even one of those moments where I was like, good, like, it's a brawl and they're letting them brawl. I mean, to a certain extent, but it's not excessive force. It's not we pulling out guns. We're not shooting people. We're not doing all that stuff. And like, even that made me feel good for once. Cause like, we don't get to see that in media, especially when it comes to Black people and police very often, not in the most recent years, So I was just like, good. It's not an immediate firing squad on Black people.
And it was heartening to see that it was a multicultural coalition of people saying, nah, them people was out of pocket. They got what they deserved. White people, Hispanic people, Native American people. Like, it was like, y'all need help next time. Where I get my chair? Where's my t-shirt with my chair? Where are my earrings with the chair? Like, they was like, how support? Is there a bail bond? Like, they was like, no, because like a lot of white people are tired. They're like, y'all make us look so bad. Like, y'all need to, if y'all not gonna let it go in the background, because where y'all want this country to go, we don't want it to go back there. Like, stop being racist. Let Black people just want to survive. And that's what, like, leave them people alone. We're not asking y'all for nothing. We just want to be able to survive and be left alone. And some racist white people, not all white people, because all white people are not racist, but the racist ones really get indignant when they see us flourishing. They get indignant when we're not trying to assimilate, when we walking around with our natural hair, the men and the women, when we're like, we don't necessarily, that where y'all at ain't, it's honestly not where I at.
Yeah, it's like, not where I'm trying to be. It's not where
y'all trying to be. Y'all love our culture, but so yeah, we're where it's at. And we're not trying to
phrase that you always say, I love it.
They want our rhythm, but they don't like our blues.
I love it.
Nah, like, stop. Just leave us alone. But even that, they don't like that. The racist ones, they don't like that we are not trying to assimilate and trying to be white adjacent. Nah, we're good over here with everything we have. And the Hispanics are good over there. Like, they like their culture. Native Americans like their culture. We're not trying, the stuff you're trying to sell, we don't believe. Like, we're walking around here with our melanated, sun-kissed bodies, listening to our cultural music, doing things our way. They don't like that. And it's like, well, do some business about yourselves. Why don't y'all have y'all business about yourselves?
Because we're not going for that anymore. And I think more than anything, like, that brawl just kind of let them know, like, yeah, we're not going for that. And the next time it happens, we ain't gonna go for it again. Like, we're gonna stick up for ourselves. Like, keep playing. Run up and I promise done up.
Okay, promise. Yesterday I was in the mall and I literally felt white people were acting differently. Like, they were scooting out my way. I was like, they was not. I was like, y'all, I mean, thank y'all, I appreciate it, but no, I think it's a thing. It's you did what now? What'd you say?
This ain't the past.
And I'm not mad
You're
at
not
it.
living in the past. This is not the past. Like, you don't get your ass beat.
Some white people are like, I would love to help, but I'm wearing the wrong jersey. Like, I can pass out chairs. Like, what y'all need me to do? And it was just like, it was heartening to see that.
Yeah.
Like,
that more people came together with the collective and just like straight up like, yeah, we're not going for that. Like, I love it. People of the global majority, the minorities who was all like, yeah, nah. And it was definitely funny to see like white people, especially Southern white people with they thick Southern accents, like, nah, y'all get y'all ass beat. That's right. Like, we're not doing that.
Y'all got dealt with. Why'd you do that? When that man was just trying to do his job. All right.
Loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah. So what do y'all friends think? Do y'all think that the Battle of Montgomery put us a step further as people of color or people that are oppressed? Because you don't have to be Black to be oppressed. Or do you think that it went too far? Let us know at Honestly Friends Pod on Instagram or comment below on our YouTube channel. And we will see y'all next week.
Bye, friends.